I genuinely never thought that I'd have to do a book review after high school, to be honest. I mean, I've never done it post that. I mean, I also have never done it out of my own volition, so this is crazy for me, but it had to be done. See that right there? With love and prayers. I'm about to read it for the very first time, and I'm so excited. My goodness, I can't wait. All right, let's get started with it. Thank you very much, CJ. I feel so privileged. Yeah, let's do. This is my book review for With Love and Prayers by CJ Moyo. Wow. To be honest, when CJ was writing his book and I saw his updates, I could see that he's very excited about it and things like that. And I was excited for him, But it was only until I read the book that I recognized or realized why he was so excited about it. I mean, first of all, this is not just like playing around and, this is a serious book, like a proper book. The cover, everything about it is proper, So that's just number one. It's just, okay, yeah, cover on point, very clean, very beautiful, and the format of it was giving CJ as an author. If you had told me that CJ was not an author before this, I would have just been like, what? Because this it looks like it was done by someone who has been writing books, and I'm very impressed by that. I kept on just like, I was like, why is CJ doing this to us? Why would he raise the bar so high? I mean, if we had to write books, now they have to reach that standard. But that just goes to show the amount of effort and work that was put in by CJ in compiling this book, And so I was just impressed by the format of it. I was looking around and things like that. I was like, whoa, this is a serious book. And the many pages, and I was like, how did CJ finish this book in the time that he had? I mean, I saw CJ starting to write in like, I don't know how many months it took him. But it wasn't even a year, or even like 6 months, I believe, that he wrote this book, at least in my knowledge. But the amount of pages and the amount of details that are in this book just shows that this person was really dedicated. I don't even think procrastination is a word for him, because I mean, how can you write so much and in so great details and such great content in that amount of time, without actually being so dedicated and committed to this? So I must just give a huge shout out to CJ for a job well done in terms of just finishing with the book and finishing at such a high standard. And then the book itself, the content, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm saying a whole lot. I know that it's messy, but it does not reflect the book. In fact, the book is very organized and structured. It's divided into 3 sections. So one is basically talking to you, in a sense, about you personally, and then the next one is relationships, so you and the world, and then it's you and God, basically the third section, which is very genius, because those are the 3 major aspects of our lives as young Christians. Let me just say, the writing style of the author. So now we refer to CJ as an author. The writing style was very personal. So it's not like he's talking at you, he's talking to you directly. And he writes each chapter as a letter to you, as a friend. When he would start each chapter with, my friend, I was like, yeah, I'm your friend. Like, yes, CJ, I'm your friend, man. It really does feel like it's a friend talking to you, and ministering to you. I can just imagine myself as Job at some point, just sitting there and his friends coming to him at his hour of need. Okay, yes, they spoke nonsense, but it's almost that type of scenario whereby your friend comes to you, whereby you're looking for answers. You can't figure out some things, and your friend just comes and sits down with you. In fact, Job needed a friend like CJ, comes to you, it talks to you, and he ministers to you, you know? And that's how I was feeling as I was reading these pages, because the things that I was dealing with and struggling with as I was reading this book, somehow God used to speak to me. I know there was a chapter on temptation and lust and things like that, and I could relate to it while reading the book in that moment, you know. And I just recognized that this book is exactly what every young person needs. It's a practical guide to Christian living for young people, if I could say, you know. In fact, I should say that, and it should be quoted on the book, you know, at the end and things like that. But just to be very like serious and frank, I really have no words. I'm trying to find the right words to capture and encapsulate my experiences as the reader, you know. But one thing, I'm just so amazed that God did such a thing through CJ. And I must just commend him for allowing God to use him in such a great way. The first time I read this book and went through it, I was like, the world needs a CJ. We need a CJ in this generation. And I believe that more CJs can be birthed through the experience of reading this story, this book, you know. And what I loved is that the author was not afraid to share his own personal experiences with the audience, that he would just share experiences that you could relate with because you were there at some point, or you are there at some point. It's not something that feels like someone is very far talking to you about something that they know nothing about, but you're sharing things that he has experienced, the questions that he has asked. And it's a thing of, hey, my friend, like, this is amazing. This is what I've just learned and figured out from this experience. And I thought that I should share this with you. And so each and every person who's looking for answers, who is confused about some parts of their journey in life, you know, and the many facets of one's life that we have to deal with, this book is for you, you know. I would recommend it to every young person, every young Christian, in fact. I think it is a very important read at such a time as this, and I don't think that you will be the same after reading it. I recognize myself that every time I read a chapter, I would feel closely connected to God. It would feel like God is talking to me, you know, through CJ, in his voice, you know, and the inclination is to pray after reading every chapter. That just shows how closely connected to God the author was as he was writing this. And so, yeah, I'm just so grateful and privileged to have gone through this book. I can't wait to actually get the paperback version of it and feel the pages. This is something I'm going to buy, not just to support CJ, you know. Support is great, yes. You can support CJ if you want to, but I'm not asking you to buy it in order to support him. Buy it because it deserves to be bought. The work that has been put here, the quality of the work and the standard that has been put in these pages, and the necessity of it in one's life is more than enough for anyone to read it. So yeah, that's my review. I probably would have gotten a 0 if this was an English review like we used to do in high school, but I hope my point came across. It's just so hard to encapsulate into words exactly what I was thinking and what I'm thinking. You'll probably see me promoting this, like, as the dates go by. I'll do it, you know, with great pleasure, because everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know about this book, and everyone needs to buy it. I couldn't speak about it, and I was just biting my tongue, but hopefully after this I can be able to share my experience with everyone who needs to. So I hope that you buy the book as soon as you can. March 31 pre-orders, so please do buy the book. You won't regret it. God is telling you today, buy that book. God bless you, and God bless you, CJ. We thank you. God will do more great things through you, and I can't wait to see.